Well, we have history in the making happening for Magic the Gathering. Could this shake the foundation of what we expect for new sets moving forward? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Welcome to Game Grove. This is the LGS that I get to hang out in and operate. And if you want to support the channel, you can go to gamegrove.gg. We do have Ixalan or Return or whatever it is, Lost Caverns of Ixalan pre-orders up. Thank you guys so much who support the channel. Thank you to all the patrons who support this content where we just talk about Magic the Gathering. Today, though, we're going to be talking about Lord of the Rings, the special limited collector holiday amazing edition that is coming out in this holiday release. I think that this is a test for Wizards of the Coast to see, again, just how far can they push things before the thing topples over. And so I think a set like this has some additional risk, and we're going to talk about the risk factors of what they are doing with this special limited edition, special collector, I don't know, whatever they're calling it. And then I'm also going to talk about just the hype and the excitement built around the Lord of the Rings set. And at the end, I'm going to tell you why I chose to actually increase my ask based on, some of the metrics that I've been looking at. So Lord of the Rings, Tales of the Middle-earth, one of the sets this thing, I'm not going to say it caught me off guard because I think I caught it before I did. I was pretty negative about the idea of Lord of the Rings up front. And then the market just told me how wrong I was. I was really worried. I was one of the guys that early on was saying the one ring, the one of one was going to, once it got found, it was going to tank the price of the collector boxes. I was just dead wrong on that. Like at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who thought that too. We were dead wrong, and box prices have held at that $400 price point pretty well. $390 to $410 boxes are right there, and they are holding. And when they announced the special limited collector edition, they announced that before we saw the One Ring pulled, before we saw the market accept this product. They announced that, and I was pretty negative. I said, listen, this is the first time in the history of Magic the Gathering where we have seen a double release of essentially the same set. And I know some stuff has come out and there's some different cards, and that'll be a big deal. But at the end of the day, this is going to have a lot of the reprints of the same set as the first version of Tales of the Middle-earth, Lord of the Rings. And so I was pretty negative about that. And I want to share that I still believe in those risks, but seeing some of the spoilers, seeing some of the things come out, I have actually become pretty bullish on this Tales of Middle-earth product. I want to talk about that. So let's talk about first the risk factors. This is the first time we've seen a full-fledged reprint of a set within another set, right? So we've never seen like Strixhaven collector boxes and then Strixhaven special edition collector boxes that have the same card pool just with different art this close to one another. Now, we have seen reprints, and reprints do tank the market. Looking at you, Modern Horizons 2, right? Like, we've seen Modern Horizons 2 just be reprinted and restocked, and it has devalued the cards. You're seeing fetch lands at 10, 12, 13 bucks. That is certainly affecting the market. But this is the first time that we've seen the same product repackaged, re-arted, and put into another product. And this is frankly a test from Wizards, in my opinion, to see, can they get away with this? Can they continue to do this? Can they create enough value in variation by doing this in order to sell more boxes of the same set? Because it does solve one of the biggest issues for Wizards of the Coast, which is when you put serialized cards in collector boxes, you can't restock them. You can't put more, you can't create more product to satiate whatever the demand that you've created with those serialized cards, because they're serialized. You can't have, serialized card 2 of 100 3 times and you can't reprint it. So this is their solution to that problem, in my opinion. And Lord of the Rings is the perfect opportunity to see, can they do that, to see what happens, because the demand of Lord of the Rings is insane. And listen, I got that wrong too. Like, I thought I thought people were going to come in and then leave. It seems like a lot of the Lord of the Rings people, I still have people all the time checking out the Lord of the Rings Commander decks. If I could restock Lord of the Rings Commander decks, I would do it 10 times. Like, it is amazing the demand for the Lord of the Rings stuff. It just keeps on coming, and people are still interested, even though that one-of-one ring is pulled. So I think from a risk level perspective, we don't know as a community, as a market, we don't know what happens when they reprint the same cards 3 months later, whatever it is, when they reprint the same cards in a different version. We don't know exactly what happens. But, and this is the big, this is the kicker for me. The EV on Lord of the Rings right now still seems to be pretty dang close to that box price. So there is some ability for these singles to drop down in price. Look at the One Ring. I mean, that card is still like $40. We just opened up a bunch of collector. We got collector the bundles from Distro. I got like 15 of them or something like that. Randomly, they just had them. We opened them all and sold the one rings, and then we just packed out the rest in the store because people didn't want the gift bundles in store. They wanted, packs or whatever. So we sold those one rings. I think they sold in like 3 hours, all 15 of the one ring. The demand for the singles in the Lord of the Rings set is so high that, yes, don't get me wrong, yes, there will be an initial shockwave when these products enter into the market, and the prices of some of these cards, Nazgul, right? A lot of these cards that aren't as played as like the One Ring will drop in value for a short period of time, but the demand will catch up to that, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion. I would love to hear yours in the comment section. I just feel like they put so much into this Lord of the Rings set that this is the set to try it on. This is the set that they can probably get away with a reprint that quick. So that's the first major risk factor. The second major risk factor of this, the second major risk factor is the serialized cards. You have a lot of serialized cards entering the market with this release. You've got the Realms and Relics that are all getting serialized, and then all of the Mythics. I believe it's all of the Mythics, because I think they said it was whatever it is, 20 or 30. All the Mythics are getting that borderless art style poster, which also has the serialized version, and that is out of 100. So there's like something like 6,000, I think. It's either 5,000 or 6,000 serialized cards entering the market, which is a lot. It's a different perspective than the Soul Rings that were in the first set. I don't know. I think it's risky. You guys know my take on serialized cards. I think the more serialized cards you print, the more that you lower the value of what a serialized card will be. So when you had Brothers War out and it was the first serialized cards, you were seeing most of those sell around $350, $400 a card, for the lower end. Excuse me. The more that you put pressure on different serialized cards in the market, the more the people who care about serialized cards, there's really only a finite number of people who care about serialized cards, and they have a finite amount of money. So the more serialized cards you print, the more you kind of devalue those, and maybe you can make the argument that the more the value of the serialized cards drops, the more people who are interested in them. That would be fair. But I just think that this is a little bit of a risk factor of this Lord of the Rings collector's version, special edition, is that the number of serialized cards are so high that you're going to see a couple of them be stupid high. The One Ring, that serialized is going to be a very expensive card because it's played in Modern, it's played in all these formats. You're going to see a couple of them be really high, but I think you're going to see a big miss on the downside of these, and that's one of the fears I have, which is like if the chase isn't real, if it becomes like a Brothers War scenario, right, where you can get the chase and it's just not that good. I'm not sure that it's going to uphold the increased price that the Lord of the Rings set comes with, from the distro level to the retail level to whatever, and that could be a risk factor. So when I look at this set, those are the two things that scare me. Those are the two things that when I was ordering initially, I kind of thought through. But recently, through seeing the artwork and seeing people get excited for the set and reliving it, and then looking at the market of collector boxes from the first wave, I just think the market needs it. I actually increased my ask. I doubled from both reps, both distros. I doubled the amount of boxes that I asked for. Just simply put, I think that the demand is there, and I think people are excited to revisit the set again. And I think that these being at a lower price threshold, I think on TCG Player, they're like $330, $345, I don't remember exactly, but being at a lower price point are actually going to create a lot of demand to open and revisit Lord of the Rings, maybe in a different way. Now, I don't know that people are going to go for the full case, right? I don't think people are going to be like, hey, give me 6 collector boxes, but I do think a good chunk of people are going to be interested in opening this and experiencing it, especially if it's like 20 to 25% less than the first Lord of the Rings set. Like, I kind of thought that this was going to be a set that the price was increased and you would see like a stupid limited number, and that could very well be the case once we get allocations from distro and stuff. But seemingly what the market is showing is that this is actually going to be less than the original one, which I actually think is going to do really well for it, and it's going to drive a lot of demand for people who don't want to shell out the $400 or like the $40 per pack. It's like a secondary level towards the same cards. And I think the demand at that price point is really high, which gives me a lot of confidence that this set's going to do pretty well. So those are my thoughts. I didn't even brush on the art series one. Those seem to be doing really good too. The bundles that have the art, I increased for those. I think locally there's going to be a lot of people who want a set of all 4 of them. I think online it's going to be, in my opinion, like the Step and Complete bundle where there's just not going to be enough to go around. But those have a higher percentage of getting reprinted in my mind than the collector boxes do. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Lord of the Rings special edition collector, whatever. I'm pretty excited about it. That Saruman of many colors, I actually really want to get a serialized version of that. I don't know, just for something special to remember this year. It's been a crazy year for the store. It's been a crazy year for the YouTube channel. And it's just kind of Lord of the Rings kind of fits this theme for this year. So hopefully you're having a great day. Thanks for watching the content. If you're enjoying it, hit the subscribe button. If not, thanks for being here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And remember, this is all just cardboard. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.